Prepare your ear holes for penetration. Another great podcast from the Extended Universe.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
I love the Power Glove. It's so
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 75 of the Video Rangers podcast. I'm Mike Ranger. Sitting beside me is Chris Ranger. Say hello, Chris Ranger.
Hello, everybody! It is a very special episode. A little something different this week.
They're all special.
They seem to be.
Each and every one of them.
We got a video game top 10 list.
1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
This is
7,
something we
8.
thought we wanted to do before the show ended. No, it's not ending. But maybe. We kind of want to do all the stuff we really wanted to do before maybe the show might slow down. So we're just trying to get these things out, a little bucket list. So we thought it'd be fun. We do a top 10 list.
And for those of you who have been listening since the very first episode, you might remember that we used to talk about video games
A little bit.
here and there. But
It was part of the video rental scene.
yeah. And that's what this show was about. The
That's what
show
it
was about the
initially
video
about
store.
a lot.
And then we just forgot to talk about that a bunch of
Well,
times.
no, the show
It evolves,
changes.
it turns, it changes. It's like a Rubik's Cube. Impossible.
sand in an hour class. These
So
are the days of our lives.
Oh, man. All right. So, would you like to start this off, or
Okay, sure.
we're going to go over our top 10 video games of all time?
The rules for the list are you can only pick one game per series. I think that's the only rule.
That's about it. It could be
So-
any kind of video game ever. It could be on your Mac.
So the list could be possibly different if it was just any game ever. But we're just going to go with that, and I think that's a good rule. So, number 10 for me, and these are basically our favorites, not what I just think is the best game.
Oh, yeah. No, because then
And-
I'd have a different list.
And again, these are only the games I've played. I'm not going to pick a game that people said was awesome,
Yeah.
but I've never played it.
Yeah.
And I'll probably get to that at least on one of them where it makes a connection. So, my number 10, I initially picked a fighting game, Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Yep.
I've changed my mind,
Okay.
and I'm picking Burnout 3 Takedown.
Ooh, I've heard people talk of this
But it
game.
was fucking awesome. It's an awesome game.
Why is it awesome? What do you do with it?
It's a arcade racing game,
Okay.
and most of the object is to fucking crash the other players,
And make the other guy burn out.
more or less,
Nice.
burn out and crash. There's also though other modes like there's where you send your car flying into a scene and you try to blow up and do the most damage, and there's like slow motion and you can kind of guide the car. And it's really fucking fun too. It's another extra mode. There was so much about this game to like. The whole series, and the cars are all like tuners and cool. Like I got all sorts of cars.
What's that artifact you're holding over there?
I'm actually holding the game. It says online broadband only.
Oh, look at that.
Oh man,
Dude, I can't believe how long ago that was.
I didn't even play this game online. I didn't have
No.
broadband.
Nah, who did, man?
This game, it came out in 2004 on the PlayStation 2, and it was a fucking awesome game. Really fucking cool.
That's something I'd actually would like to check out.
I have Revenge. I got Burnout Revenge. They're
So,
both good. They're both
you're-
awesome games.
Your car's basically a weapon, and you're
Well, it's an
trying to take
arcade
people out.
racer, so there's lots of these jumps. You're going really fucking fast. You're drifting,
So-
and you just bang, you smash into someone.
Do you have to come in
crashing
first place? Like, is
Yeah,
that? Is
you-
that
that's the- yeah,
so it's a
that's-
typical type of racer,
Well,
but like a no holds barred.
Some of them
kinda-
are like you got to take down this many people. Like there's different objects,
Yeah.
to get to do, and there's traffic you got to deal with. So you crash people in the traffic, you throw them off the bridge, whatever, trees. It's a really awesome game. It was so much fun. Before this, I never played it. I was a big Need for Speed in the late '90s. You know, those games where the cops actually chased you. I'm not sure how the new ones are anymore. I'm sure they're similar, but
So
those
this
are
is
really
like
fun games.
A road rash kind of game.
Sort of,
Yeah.
to a degree. Like the Need for Speed games were one of my favorite for a while because you got to drive supercars. Like I'm never going to drive a Porsche or Ferrari.
Yeah.
You got to do that. I mean, these cars are different. They're kind of like tuned up, like Japanese cars. A lot of them. But there is like some muscle cars in there. But
Can you,
it's
like-
a damn fun game?
Can you level up at all? Like, can you do add-ons to your car?
It's been a long time. You kind of upgrade. Like the further you get in the game,
Yeah.
you buy new cars that are faster. So you get like, you know what I mean? So your cars get faster.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There's like, oh yeah, you go the wrong way and it fills up like your nitro. So you have a lot of, you get in doing crashes, fills up your nitro, like crashing people. So you always have tons of nitro. You go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Like the game is all about speed. It's so fucking fast.
Nice. Well, that sounds
The
like
game is very fast. It was great. It was
sounds like a good time.
It was a fucking awesome game.
All right, my number 10 is actually an arcade game from 1985 called Galaga.
Galaga.
I fucking love Galaga. I walk into a Dairy Queen and I see a split Miss Pac-Man Galaga machine, and I immediately want to throw a quarter in there. As a matter of fact, there is a seafood restaurant in Ocean City, Maryland, where last time I was there, I got the high score.
Watch out, Ocean City, Maryland.
Now, I'm pretty sure I got the high score because they unplug the machine every night.
Probably.
But I got the high score. Galaga.
Galaga was cool.
Galaga's a fun game, man. It's simple. You can just kind of pick it up and
like
play
Space
it.
Invaders, right?
Yeah, it's that simple, old school,
Yeah.
arcadey. Anybody can really play it. You just got to figure out the fucking pattern. You know, I do like the NES port. That's the one I own. I unfortunately do not have a machine. And actually, in my old age, I have discovered that playing Galaga with the NES Advantage joystick is the easier way to play it.
Well, it is an arcade
Yeah,
game.
but when I was a kid, I didn't like the arcade sticks.
No, either
As a
did I.
small kid, I never. I always.
Now, does
yeah.
your copy still work?
Yes, I've played this copy in the past few months.
Cool.
Yes, I clean it with Q-tips, and even though it says "do not clean with alcohol," I've done that.
They're lying. They want you to buy their cleaning kit that has alcohol in it.
Yes.
Remember that? Big fucking
stupid
lie.
Pink thing that you stuck in your
Scumbags.
fucking.
Fucking scumbags.
Really, the problem was they sold us a fucking defective machine. Those stupid pins bent.
Oh, God. I spent more time trying to get games to work sometimes.
Yeah, that's the
You know?
downside of the NES, man.
That was the worst. I remember we bought a new one, and the first time we put the game in, it didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
It's
Really?
the way it's designed. It's not doesn't work. Even though I fucking love it.
No, it's good when
I had to install the
There was-
fucking blinking light win into mine to get it to work.
there was like certain kids though whose Nintendo always worked.
Yeah,
Like I don't know what it was.
Probably
but
didn't play it.
They got it to work.
until somebody came over.
You're probably right.
Yeah. All right, what do you got next?
Oh, number 9.
Number 9.
I remember when this is the third game in the series. When this game first came out, I immediately wanted it because I thought just the idea was awesome. As Tenchu Wrath of Heaven for the PlayStation 2 came out in 2003. The first 2 games came out in PlayStation. If you don't know it, it's you play as a ninja and you assassinate people.
Oh, family
And
friendly game.
There's different kills. You got to sneak up behind people and decapitate their head or come down from a building, stick your sword in their body. It's fucking awesome.
The kind of game you want to play with grandma.
It came out in 2003. I think the initial games came out in like 98, 99. It really set off. I know it didn't set it off, but it was a stealth game, which is not many. There's only a few. It came out just before Metal Gear Solid, which again, I didn't get into that series, and I know that's the superior game. This game wasn't perfect, but it was just something I really liked. It worked for me. I thought the idea of just playing as a ninja was the best thing ever.
well, the whole point of it is like it doesn't matter. None of these games are necessarily the best games ever made.
Yes.
It's just whatever you had the most enjoyment with
agree
at
on
the
it.
time.
But I know everyone would argue with me about Metal Gear Solid, and of course,
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. I'm not going to argue it.
I'm going to
I
catch some
really
shit for my
enjoyed that.
choices.
This game was awesome. I just loved the whole concept. Sneaking in the trees because you're walking on rooftops, Mike, and you throw your grappling hook and zip right up.
Oh,
And then like you could do this to be a guard and you can't like, get by him, so you roll a bowl of rice to him, and he goes, "Oh, I'm hungry. I'll eat this rice." And you can sneak up on him, kill him.
I think the stealth aspects of a few games have always been my like least favorite parts. Like I really
They're
don't
not for everybody.
like. I know Zelda does it. You know,
A little bit.
Yeah, and
They did a
it's
little
not
bit.
always like actually in Breath of the Wild. That was some of the parts I kind of didn't enjoy
Mm-hmm.
doing. Was the stealth stuff when you were with the fucking group of ninjas.
Yeah, that was a little tedious.
Yeah, after a while, I was just like, man, I want to go climb a fucking mountain, man. You know? All right. My number 9 is a very simple sports game released on the NES in 1987 called Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Pretty cool.
That was one of my favorite NES games. I played the shit out of that game. I can do a pretty solid run all the way up to Sandman, and then I fail. Like it's one of the, such a tough game, but it's so fucking simple.
It's something you need a lot of practice with.
Yeah, you got to learn the times, and
Yeah.
what sucks is like it's so hard to get to like far, like really deep into the game. So you end up struggling with the more difficult characters because you don't want to have to
Go
rebeat
through
everybody.
the whole game again.
And there
They
is a
got the
code
passwords,
system,
yeah.
but you know sometimes the code system works against you. Like if you're gonna go straight to Tyson, I think you start with 1 or 2 losses. But there's something about like the music in that game and the whole way that they got around, you know, because the arcade setup for that is completely different. There's the 2 screens, and you've got your characters like that green wire, and you can see through them.
Mm-hmm.
So Little Mac is a hardware limitation basically. So if they made this little tiny guy, you can see the other Boxster who's obviously more physically imposing. I mean, there's no way you should beat fucking the guy from Japan. Even Von Kaiser is a fucking tough guy.
Piston Honda.
Yeah, Piston
I wanted
Honda.
to say E Honda for some reason.
Yeah, I know. King Hippo is gigantic.
King Hippo.
Soda Popinski is a fucking monster, and Super Macho Man is striking.
He's striking. Is
Striking.
he? He's got that 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes, he does.
He always kind of creeped me out because like he's like almost completely naked. He's like kind of dressed like a wrestler. He's not.
Yeah.
Isn't he in like a not a thong but like a
Yeah, he's in like a
banana
little
hammock.
banana hammock. Yeah.
Like he made me uncomfortable looking at him when I was a kid.
You know what made me uncomfortable? Fucking Little Mac's like wool fucking running outfit.
The pink running
that
outfit.
horrible pink running outfit. I think everybody enjoyed watching that animation though, because it was so different. You know,
Dun, 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 dun. Little Mac.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And despite popular belief, Mike Tyson's Punch Out was not discontinued because he went to jail. The contract was up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why
And they
you
still
also
were
can
making
find
the
regular
games.
Punch Out with Mr. Dream. And you heard it right here, folks, on the Video Rangers podcast.
So my number 8 came out in 2001 on the PlayStation 2. Grand Theft Auto 3.
Ooh, look at you picking all the disc games.
Yeah, it's a lot. This is a big chunk of my
youth.
adulthood.
Yeah.
and youth as well. But
Yeah.
this is a time when I was buying games myself. Now, this is like the first like open sandbox game that looked really good. You could do just about anything. Now, I really like Vice City and San Andreas, and I'm just picking this one because I played all those a ton. But this was just such a fucking breath of fresh air, and like it was amazing. Another amazing. It had soundtrack, it had radio stations. You know,
It was a game changer.
it was so many games in one. It was like a racing game. You could do everything, it seemed, just about.
You did not have to play. There was no linear way to play the
No,
game, really.
I would spend hours, I'm sure lots of people, just going on rooftops and blowing cars up.
I knew people that
The
didn't even
police
play the
chased me.
story.
Like,
You know?
just having the police chase you was fun.
Yeah.
You know? Hitting the jumps. You know, it was fucking awesome. This, so many memories of just playing this all fucking day, wasting my life. It was a great fucking game. I can't say it enough. And it just changed a lot of stuff going forward. The whole sandbox, concept. Like it had been done before, but not on this magnitude.
No, I would say that like Shenmue is like your real entry into open worldness.
Yeah,
and then
you could say
Grand Theft Auto kind of refines it.
Like the original Legend of Zelda is open box to a degree, but it's like I said, it has limitations.
There's an evolution. Yeah.
Yes.
But Shenmue was like kind of real. You had a job. I mean, you had a fucking
job. You had
job.
to get to work at a certain time.
Yeah, and then Grand Theft Auto had prostitutes and drugs and like
amazing
police
things.
chases. Yeah.
I remember my friend Jerry came up with the same game before it came out. We were talking like what a game where you just sell drugs.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, that sounds cool.
I remember coming up when I was a kid, I had this idea for like, why don't they have a game where you're a serial killer and you have to
they came out with that game. What the hell is it called? Can't think of it. It came out on the PlayStation and you're like in prison and you kill people.
Yeah.
Like you kill somebody with putting a plastic bag over their head.
It's nuts.
It's called Manhunt maybe? It's been a long time. I can't remember exactly. It's been so long, but yeah, there's there really hasn't been a game like that. Like it's one thing. Like I mean, I guess you could say Tenchu's kind of a killer too. He's an assassin.
Yeah.
But to be like just killing people, I mean, you
and
could
then covering up your crime scene.
Grand Theft Auto, you could kind of do that.
You know,
you could play your own mental game, like in your head, and like murder a woman, and then go to a different island.
Yeah.
And like, the Liberty City murderer is on the loose still.
Oh man!
You could drive by and kill people.
Yeah.
And do the drive-by whole sequence. How fucking awesome was that? Like you kill a whole group, whole gang members with your Uzi.
I know. And then what's funny is like you see a game like that, and then you have to laugh at the idea that Night Trap was so fucking bad.
And that was getting a lot of shit.
And there's nothing in that.
Combat.
You can seriously, anybody who's ever played Night Trap, there's nothing bad. The only thing that's somewhat is a girl in a nightie. That's it.
That's, you know what, some conservatives got a hold of it. You know, someone showed them whatever, and they just were attacking video games. And that was the thing, was attacking video games at that time. That was the cause of everything.
But you just look at that, and then you look at Grand Theft Auto, and you're like, wow, this is two different worlds.
This game came out in October of 2001, just after the September 11th attacks. And they had to change stuff in the game because of that. There was if you remember, there's a little icons where you go on rampages. And you like it'll say like, kill 20 people with the M16 or something, or use Molotov cocktails and like blow up 20 cars. Initially, that was you were supposed to get a phone call and someone was going, and there was a guy on the other line telling you to do stuff, and one of them was like blow a building up or some shit like that. So they changed that. And the cop cars they had to change the cop cars, I believe, because they looked a lot like New York City police cars. They altered them a little bit. So it was an amazing game, though. And the games just got better. I mean, they added motorcycles and the planes and helicopters. It was, they added so much stuff. Motorcycles were so fucking fun to drive around.
Number 8 on my list is a game that came out on the NES of February 2nd, 1988, called Contra.
Oh, the almighty Contra.
The almighty Contra. One of the things that always made this game stand out to me, especially at the time, is, there were 2-player games before, but a lot of 2-player games were not simultaneous. You'd play Mario Brothers with your friend or your brother or something, and you had to wait till the person died before it was your turn.
Yeah.
And then comes along Contra, and I remember I didn't own it. I had a friend who had it, and I went over there, and now you're playing at the same time, and you like your progress is based on 2 people being somewhat competent at being able to, because you
working together.
Yeah, if you just try to do your own thing, like you're gonna fuck the other person.
Yeah,
up.
you can only go forward if you're both going forward.
Yeah.
So you're on, like little brothers going left, and you're trying to go right or something.
Yeah. It was one of the premier couch co-op.
Being able to take out, so many enemies with 2 guys firing. I think the 3rd level, you got to go up the mountain.
Yeah.
It's very hard with 2 people. because you got to be right in sync.
Yeah,
going
you
up.
gotta keep
Otherwise,
moving.
the board keeps going up and it'll kill you at the bottom. If you go too fast for one person, it'll die at the bottom. So that was a huge. I can never really remember how many times you never could be in sync with that.
Yeah,
But-
and then what's also cool about it, and this is an early Nintendo game, like you're switching between different types of viewpoints. You've got the side-scrolling run and gun,
Yeah.
and then you've got those other levels where you now
like top down.
yeah, and there's like a pattern to everything. It's really one of those early fucking
It's
cool blow your
Really
mind
fun
kinda-
game. It looks great.
It's real
for
fun to play.
NES.
That's really what it comes down to. It's real fun to play.
The music's cool. It's good. Got good video game music. They took a
that.
little from the Aliens at the end.
Yeah, it's got
But
that
that's
quality Konami seal on it.
It's got the Konami code.
Yes,
Just in case you can't beat it with just 3 lives.
which I can't. It's fucking hard.
It's fun. It's fun as hell to put the Konami code in. Just go to town.
And this is a game that I'll play today happily.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's actually I actually think that the NES Contra is better than the arcade port because I own both of them.
Okay.
I actually brought my copy of Contra.
It's going for $30.
Yeah, Contra goes for on the NES goes for about $30 now. And my issue with Contra now as an adult is that I do have to use my NES to play it, which is not always the easiest thing to do. And I don't know why every time you're able to purchase a digital copy of fucking Contra, it is never the original game. It's always Super C or Alien Wars or
Yeah, it's
fucking-
not the original Contra. You can't it never came out for the Virtual Console and Wii. Always waiting for it, and that was 10 years ago.
That's why I hold on to this cart. 'Cause
I got it on the Raspberry Pi. It plays really good on there.
It's great. It's Contra.
But it's Contra. Who doesn't like Contra?
Yeah, you'd go to the rental store, guaranteed Contra was not in stock.
Who doesn't like Contra? It has a selling point too. Just looking at it looks awesome. Of course, someone's gonna buy that.
I love how I brought the cartridges of the game.
That was the best part. I mean, sometimes you bought a game, you had to go in the picture in the box. That's it.
Yeah, and there's a great picture on the cover of Contra. You've got
that
the
sold it.
fucking
It
two
looks like
Rambo-looking
it looks
guys.
like Predator.
Yeah,
Like they're in the fucking jungle. Or
it does. It's got an alien look to it.
Mhm.
Contra. Don't leave home without it.
What are we up to? Number 7. My number 7 favorite game of all time. Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube.
Really?
In 2005 it came out. Awesome fucking game.
You sure it's not the Wii version?
No, that is horrible.
Horrible.
And I told Mike to buy it because this one was so good.
Oh.
And it's so bad. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Mike.
it's so bad. I returned it and got half my money back.
It's so bad. This game is awesome. It kind of plays more or less like the old Nintendo game, baseball games. Kind of like, the way it just comes down to throw it down. You press like forward to make it go fastball, and you press left to right to move the ball. There's extras in it, like each players have like special throw, like the pitcher can like throw a special pitch, and the game is just, it's got like a whole, like everyone in Mario verse is like in it, like a ton of like lots of Donkey Kong characters, and one of the best parts is there's obstacles in the field, so it makes the game even a little bit different. Each player has different objectives to get, trophy system kind of. It was just such a fun game. I love playing it. I'm gonna say that a lot probably.
Well, they are our top
our favorite
games.
There was a mode in it. I think it was, you're getting a pinball machine kind of, and you get like a certain amount of pitches, and you had to play, like if you hit to like left field and you hit on one, like it would maybe say single or out, and you, like where the ball stopped, where it landed and stopped, and like you played with a group of people who play in the outfield basically. That was like one of the funnest like modes, just like extra modes on it. It's just such a fun game.
You just made me realize something. Outside of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, I don't have any sport games on this list, and I don't really consider Punch Out a sports game.
I do not either. That's the only sport game I have.
Yeah.
The only game I'd even consider sport game wise, maybe like Techno Bowl.
Yeah.
Really love playing Techno Bowl. Not a big Madden fan. I've played a lot of like sports talk baseball on Genesis. I love like old like Baseball Stars is great.
A lot of World Series baseball I played.
Yeah, I played a lot of Sega Genesis. Like NBA Jams, great game. Didn't
NBA
make the
Jams,
list.
yeah.
Love
But that
NBA
was close.
Jam.
I thought about
I
putting
kind
that
of
on
like the game, like Blitz, NFL Blitz.
Yeah, Blitz was great.
I'm not.
I like arcadey sports
Yes,
games.
I'm not
yeah.
exactly on the traditional sports games.
I don't want
Not
a
that-
simulator.
They're okay.
Yeah.
Not like they're terrible. I played them and had fun, but I like a lot of the golf games actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Not Tiger Woods. It's the PlayStation Hot Shots. Love Hot Shots. It was a fun game. It had a lot of quirkiness in it. Hot Shots is probably one of my top games. It's not in the list, but that's a real. I played a ton of that. Me and my brother played a ton of Hot Shots. I like that way better than Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is fine. I'm not like shitting on it. I had fun playing that too, but Hot Shots Golf, I love that so much better.
I love Tiger Woods 2002. I played
Yeah.
the shit out of that version. That was great. I remember skipping a lot of classes at fucking Oneonta.
I
playing that game.
remember going up to Oneonta and went to Joe's room.
Yeah.
He had a cooler beer next to him and playing that.
Yeah, it's fucking funny. All right, my number 7 game is a game released in August of 1992 on the Super Nintendo called Turtles in Time.
All
It
right.
was the 4th installment of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series of games by Konami. This time was the first time they were where the arcade experience really felt like you were
Yes.
getting a good version of that, because the arcade game that comes out on the NES, Turtles 2, the arcade game, it's a fine game. I had a great time with it,
It's not a great
but
port.
it's not the best port if you've
No.
played the arcade game.
It's a fine game, but this game
And then
is
you get this
way better.
and the graphics look great.
I just
the
played it last
cutscenes
week.
are
It's
great.
awesome.
It's amazing, and I love play. If you
Still
can play it
holds
with
up.
somebody,
Still holds
it's
up.
a lot of fun. You can also play Hyperstone Heist on the Genesis. It's
They're both like
almost
the same
game.
similar games.
The only difference
different,
is
though.
that the Genesis version,
The levels are different, right?
there's a few ones
a
that
lot of
look
the moves
really
are the
similar,
same.
but a lot of the moves are the same. It's almost the same game.
It's like a
But
sequel, basically. On another
The
system.
Genesis sound chip is not as good as the Super Nintendo, so as an adult, I notice these things, but as a kid, I didn't fucking care.
No, it's an awesome game.
Yeah,
it has a
so-
lot of the characters from the cartoon and that you could buy, like the Rat King. So it was like just cool seeing them.
You got
Oh,
Baxter
you know.
in there. You got
Yep.
everything. It's great. Bebop and Rocksteady.
It has the ones from the movie actually too, from
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Secret of the Ooze.
I can't remember their fucking type, whatever. It doesn't matter. One's a turtle, one's like a dog.
Yeah.
It actually had Slash in it too.
Yeah.
which is cool. I like that. Slash is one of my favorite characters.
There was a lot of good characters from the cartoon series.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought.
This is the
was so
height of
cool.
the turtle popularity.
Yes.
This is a much better game, in my opinion, than Tournament Fighters. Have you played that?
No, I haven't
Teenage
played that one.
Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters.
No.
It's basically the turtles in a Street Fighter 2D fighter game.
Okay.
Because
I've
remember
heard
how
of it.
many
I've
of those
heard
there
of
were?
Mhm.
I don't have a fighter on here really. I didn't.
Mine Burnout 3 took my fighter off.
Yeah, I didn't do the Street Fighter 2 route. I didn't go that way.
I really like Street Fighter Alpha 3. I'll
Yeah.
talk about it real quick. And like Tekken 2 and 3 were really. I had a lot of fun with those games.
Which one had Tekken Bowling in it? I like that one.
Maybe it was
that the
probably
third one?
3 because it had a survival. Well, not a survival mode, but it had a beat 'em up mode where you play like almost like a double dragon, and you play
Yeah.
like 5 levels with your guy, and you do all the moves you could do in the game, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't that polished though. So number 6 on my list is a very somewhat obscure game. It's the first one came out and everyone bought it because it had a demo of Metal Gear, one of the Metal Gear sequels on it. It's called Zone of the Enders. That game is a pretty. I like it a lot. It's not a polished game. It's kind of feels like it's not finished. But the second game is really good. It's called Zone of the Enders Second Runner, and that's my number 6 game. Came out in 2003 on PlayStation 2. You're basically a giant robot, like kind of like Gundam, but it's different, and you move super fast. That's what I like the most. And like I love how the world looks like everything's miniature because you're giant. It's like you're like the size of a building, and you go around. It was really fun game. It's really fast moving. I'm gonna buy the HD collection. I think soon. I'm gonna play it again.
What
Really-
system is
really
that
awesome.
coming out on?
This came out on PlayStation 2. The HD collection came out a few years ago. I just never got around to getting it. but it's on PlayStation 3.
Oh, so what's a copy of that going for?
It was like $20 or $30 when it first came out.
Yeah.
I found it's 13 and change now.
Nice.
Brand new. So I'm gonna pick that up soon. Has both games on it and they're in HD. So I get an upgrade, PlayStation 3. So I'm looking forward to playing that again. It's been, when did it come out? It's been almost 20 years. 15, long time. It was a fun game though. Really enjoyed that one.
My number 6 game is a game that came out on the Sega Genesis on December 20th, 1992. And it's the second installment of the series, and it's Streets of Rage 2.
Awesome game.
Love that fucking game, man.
Pick up and play.
I love the combo system. I like the variation in the characters. I like how you've taken a decent leap forward from the first game. It's a lot smoother than the first game. It doesn't feel stale. You know,
it's a fun game to play.
By the time you get to the third game, I think the formula is starting to.
There's like a kangaroo in it or something.
Well, I know in the fourth game,
it's a little
in the third game,
clunkier. I think
the third game I don't enjoy as much as the second game,
Yeah.
and the fourth game never came out. They made a game called Fighting Force that I believe is on the Dreamcast. That's like when you really start to think about the life of the Sega Saturn and how it didn't have a proper Sonic game or a proper Streets of Rage game. You know, you're taking out two games that would have sold systems.
Yeah, they still should have been initial games from the get go.
Yeah,
it would have helped the system out a lot.
Instead, you get fucking Sonic 3D Blast. You know, the one nice package that I do have is that I do have I have a Sonic like compilation disc for the Saturn that has part 1, 2, 3, and the Sonic and Knuckles.
Yep.
And there's a menu screen where you can take the cartridges and put it into the Sonic and Knuckles and get that extra.
That's pretty cool.
And that's a Sonic Jam.
Sonic Jam.
That's a pretty cool collection, but at the time, kids wanted new games. Why would you? I didn't know anybody that would rebuy a game on another system at that time. If you were going to buy a new game, if you had the opportunity to buy a new game, you weren't going to rebuy something you already had.
No, I wasn't. Now I'm kind of doing it because
now it's easier to do that.
I can't get them to work. But then no, I'm not going to waste my money.
Now you're going to go buy Mario All-Star compilation. Why would I do that?
Or I played it already. Like a lot of games I don't play over again. There's only so many of those games. I don't want, you know what I mean? I'm not big on playing it several times. There's only so many games I do with that. And so if I play it, a lot of times I'd go and trade it in so I get a new game. I don't have any money.
Yeah.
I want a new game though.
Yeah, but you get tired of playing the same thing. I do have a couple games on here that I've played through multiple fucking times.
I mean, there's some I have.
Yeah.
Most of the games on this list I've played through more than twice, probably, to tell you the truth. But I'm like, a lot of games even if I like them, I play them. I like picking them up if I can pick them up 5 to 10 years later, because then it's like new again a little bit because you don't remember everything. So number 5, this was a tough one. So I picked a role playing game, and my favorite role playing game for a long time was Final Fantasy VII, but I changed it. This is Final Fantasy VI. It's just I like it so much. It aged a lot better than Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is blocky and it's ugly to look at a little bit. This has sprites on the Super Nintendo. Came out in '94, and I just love the way Super Nintendo sprites look. You can just keep making Super Nintendo looking games forever,
and you'd be fine.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, me too.
Got tons of characters. There's like 12, 15 characters. You can interchange. It's a long game. Role playing game. Grind it out. Just love this game. It's a good one. Final Fantasy. Well, discrepancy here. I say Final Fantasy VI came out as Final Fantasy III in America.
That's a whole nother.
So it's really 6 in the series. They
Yeah.
skipped a lot of stuff. But so it's Final Fantasy III on the Super Nintendo. But yeah, one of my favorites.
All right, for my number 5, I have a game released in 1997 for the Nintendo 64 called GoldenEye 007. I remember, and Chris and I have talked about this, I was actually gifted a Nintendo 64 on Christmas through my uncle, and I got the GoldenEye edition with the gold controller. I remember I didn't even touch it for because I had, it was given to me and my brothers, and they were playing it. They were so into the fucking new system, and I was still playing my fucking Saturn. And I remember I had one snow day and I sat down with it, and I think it was the first game I had played like that. And I'm not talking about the multiplayer. I'm just talking about like the story.
Just the campaign, yeah.
The campaign was that you had a list of objectives.
Very cool.
It was
very cool game.
You could save, which was still like, it wasn't obviously
All
it wasn't a new
at that
thing,
time,
but it helped.
a couple games could save, or you had passwords.
Yeah,
That's all we had. Man.
Exactly. So, and this had cheats that you could unlock, and
well, the best part was you didn't have to have a memory card either saved on the game itself,
Yeah.
which was
It
awesome.
was-
You had to buy something else.
it's not one of the first games that I got into where I couldn't wait to get home every day and play like this progressing fucking storyline. There had been games like that before. I was older. I had a better understanding of how video games worked, and couple that with the multiplayer, which was fucking huge at the time.
Well, it introduced it was one of the to the home console, the multiplayer, first person shooter.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun.
I mean, it was a huge game.
You could talk shit right to your friend right there.
Yeah.
Stop looking at my screen.
It was awesome. I hadn't had that much fun playing co-op since Street Fighter 2.
Mike had a big TV too, so it was real fun playing.
Oh, yeah.
with the four players. At the
Yeah,
same
that was
time.
fun. Now, it's a game I struggle to go back to now,
It
but
didn't
at the
age well
time,
at all.
hundreds of hours were put into
I could
it.
probably still play it, but it didn't age well at all.
Yeah, no, it looks like shit now.
Yeah, it's bad.
But at that moment in time, that was everything.
One of my favorites is basically the sequel to that was they got rid of the licensing for Bond though, but they had Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
It's basically the same game. It has like some of the boards to stack, but like it has a original story, and it basically upgrades everything and makes everything like you could play the death mode with the computer and have 8 characters running around, so you didn't need friends. And I fucking used to come home from work on Friday and have like a 12-pack of beer, just fucking play that for 3 hours and go out later. Had a fucking gay old time.
And with that, when you need like the RAM expansion for that,
You did need the RAM expansion, yes, but that was an awesome game. It was there was another cool mode where every weapon you went to a firing range with, and you could fire it, and you had an objective to do with it, which was tough and fun at the same time, though.
yeah.
Cool game, really cool game.
I find it funny that like I chose an N64 game as one of my favorite games of all time, and it's my least favorite system.
Yeah,
I really don't like the Nintendo 64,
No,
but I
yeah.
love that game.
now that wasn't my number 4 pick. I just had to say that because it didn't make my list, but it's up there. It's one of my favorite games. My number 4 is Sympathy of the Night on PlayStation. It came out in 1997. This is a Castlevania game. It's kind of it became the Castlevania Metroidvania, I want to call it, the way the levels look. At this point in time, almost all games were coming out were in 3D. 2D games were kind of kicked to the curb. And this was such a fantastic looking game. Just the way it looked, it's awesome. It's very, it's got lots of stuff to do, lots of stuff to find stuff. Awesome game. Such a fun game to play. There was like a RPG elements to it. Lots of different weapons you could interchange. Like the spells in it. It was just great. It's the greatest Castlevania game ever. Right up next to it, there would be Super Castlevania 4. Would be probably the next one. But this is awesome. This is one of the best games ever made. It's such a joy to play.
You're gonna have to check out Bloodstained, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
That
Tell me
sounds
about
like
it.
it's right
I'm
up your alley.
a big Castlevania fan.
All right, my number 4 is a game that came out on April 27th in 2008 on the Nintendo Wii, and that game is Mario Kart Wii.
All right, well that joins up with my number 3,
Yeah.
so we can just talk about it together.
Oh my God.
What can I say?
That we had so much. I've never had that much fun playing a game.
I've never played a game so much in my life.
Oh my God, the hours that were
Online.
sucked into that.
I've spent almost 5 years playing this game.
Well, you're a famous person. You're like one of the best guys in the whole fucking world. Chris is actually like, people used to go on forums and request to race with him. It was fucking
Back
incredible.
in my GameFAQ GameFAQs board days.
I would go on the board to see if anybody was talking about you. You were a fucking trending topic. It was fucking
I played
incredible.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I happened to make friends with some people on there. I happened to race somebody. I was talking. I made it some topic, and I just happened to race them randomly. And they said, "Hey, I just raced you," and it kind of snowballed from there. We all had a good time.
Yeah.
Finding people. Yeah, there was like really great community. It's the only time I've had an online community. I've never gone back and tried to get in friends with people I don't know. I'm just not that kind of person. But this just was perfect. It was at a time in my life where I was kind of losing interest in video games too.
Yeah.
And this game came along. Mike had it first. And I was playing it at his house. And I'm like, I gotta get this.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta get this.
I loved how it tracked like how many hours you raced, how many laps you did, like, and
Yeah.
there was a nice progression in that game, and I like. See, a lot of people are arguing that Mario Kart 8 is the better
superior?
game,
No.
and it's nicer that
I
it's
like
got more
it, but-
courses, and it looks great, but there's something about it.
I got problems with it.
Yeah,
The way the item system is. I really love the bikes. I really grabbed onto the bikes, and not that that's like, oh, you can't drive the carts, but it's just the physics is different in the game, and not that Mario Kart Wii didn't have its problems with that because they had bad physics in there sometimes too. But I just the way the physics worked, I had way more fun playing this, and I played a lot of Mario Kart 8. You know, don't get me wrong, and like I just browsed over it, but.
my only issue with Mario Kart Wii was honestly after a while I was like, man, I wish they would add more.
Yeah,
more,
I mean, I played it
more
so
courses.
much.
Because I got sick of playing the same boards. But there was a time where as soon as we got out of work, we were playing that thing for hours, man.
I honestly played this game probably at least 3 hours every day.
I should have actually broke my Wii out and wrote down how many hours I had put into it.
I played this game at least like 3 to 8 hours a day, probably. Like anywhere in between that, every damn day. Love this game.
That was a great time, man. Great time in my life. I'm so high.
So I guess I'll go next.
So your number 3
Yeah,
was going to be Mario Kart? Okay.
Yeah. What a coinky dink. So number 2, Super Mario Bros. 3. 1990 in North America on the NES. What can I say? It's fucking awesome. It's the best game ever. Except for one more.
Now I've got a choice that's a little.
You want to talk about a different Mario game?
Well,
or?
my number 3 is Super Mario World, and I'll tell you why. Because the save system.
No, it's a top system.
Because of the save system. That's the only reason why I pick it over Mario 3.
Fair enough.
Because for accessibility purposes of like being able to walk away from it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's the only thing.
No, as a kid, it was frustrating to
But
have to
at
turn
the
the game
time-
off and you're in World 7.
But when Mario 3 came out, it was the best platformer, in my opinion, ever made.
Love it.
I know somebody's going to argue Mega Man, but Mega Man's a very hard platformer that not everybody
This is
can play.
more for everybody. Mega
This
Man's
is-
great too.
Yeah, and Mario 3 also had mini games in it. You had, so there was Mario 3 is amazing.
Mini games too. Had the card game.
Yeah, but you got a retro mini game. You got like that was kind of cool. It was a game within a game that people knew.
Now, Super Mario Bros. 3 had its own movie. Biggest commercial ever.
Yes,
the
it did.
Wizard. I mean, a whole movie to promote it. Isn't that great?
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Who doesn't like Mario Bros. 3?
Oh man.
And now at that point, I could have picked a lot of games. The Mario Galaxy games are excellent games. They're really good.
No, yeah,
They're probably
the series as a whole.
people 64. Mario 64 is awesome. I think honestly, the better games. I think Galaxies are probably just as good, if not better. But Super Mario Bros. 3 has a special place in my heart. You know.
No, the game's definitely like I never got into Mario 64 like a lot of people did, but Mario Galaxy I really liked.
1 and 2.
I
2
think
is excellent.
I think Mario Galaxy might be better than Odyssey.
It
Or
is.
I had more fun with it.
I have Odyssey and I've played a lot, but I'm not such a fan of it as I like Galaxy. But
Galaxy was great. Yeah, as I was making my list, I started to realize that really, like, because we only picked one game in the series, if we didn't do that, my
That's what I mean,
list
you have, like,
would be 3 games.
Yeah.
It was 3 series.
Probably.
The whole thing.
It'd be something close to that.
So what are you up to 2? Or are you on
I just
your-
did 2.
Okay, so you know what? Let me do my 2. That way
Yeah.
we line up our ones
sure.
on the ones and twos.
I already know which one's your one.
Oh, okay. I should hope so. My number 2 game, and this is strictly really based on the amount of hours I put into it compared to any game in the series. And this was released on June 9th in 2007 for the Nintendo Wii, and it is Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition.
Yes,
Because I played that game until eventually the game
Fingers
just started to
bled.
flash a sign telling me not to play it anymore. I maxed out every fucking category, and so I can get the one shot kill, the fucking Magnum. And after I beat the story, I went into the mercenary mode and I beat the shit out of that. That fucking game. I loved how simple the aiming was. Like that was like one of the games where they really used the Wii to its full capabilities. Where
It played very different than the other systems.
yeah, it was way easier. Like it
One of
was
the
more-
reasons I didn't get into Resident
yeah,
Evil.
because the tank controls.
Because I feel like I couldn't shoot anything.
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice to learn those. You
The
know,
angles or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
and that's
not
why
easy.
the Resident Evil 1 remake is so good because it gives you quality life improvements. And really, honestly, my favorite Resident Evil is Part 2, but this is the one I spent the most time with. The only thing I hated about the Wii version is it was one of the few games where it didn't tell you how many hours you put into it. When you go to the menu system and you're looking at it, like every other game would tell you how many hours you put into the game, but this one didn't.
yeah.
And I knew I put in more than Mario Kart on that. I played so much.
Yeah.
Of it. It was just. And I'm really looking forward to a possible Resident Evil 2 remake. Okay, what's your number 1? Did we line up here at all?
No.
No. What'd you do?
My number 1 game,
Yep.
Breath of the Wild.
I knew it.
2017
Yeah,
on the
it's
Wii
good.
or Switch.
It's very good.
It is a breath of fresh air. It's fucking awesome.
It is. It's a.
It like made me feel like a kid again playing it.
It was so good. It's best video game I've played in a long time.
It is so good. I loved exploring. I loved doing everything in it. It was such a great game. If this game didn't come out, I mean, I love Link to the Past. I love Wind Waker. I love the original. Legend of Zelda is one of my favorites. It's
Yeah.
fun to play that. I still play that. But this was it just came out. I played it at least 200 hours.
You're up that high.
It might be high. I haven't checked in a while. I played it, and then Master Mode came out,
Mm.
and I was doing the side quest. I beat it and everything, and I was already thinking about 150, 180 hours in. Oh, so I'm way over 200.
Yeah, I'm at around 110
And
hours.
I stopped what I was doing, and I started over again on Master Mode.
Yeah.
So I never finished all the quests. I've only got a few left, and I basically beat it again.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On
man.
Master
That's
Mode.
a long ass game.
But this time now you know, like, oh, I got to collect that.
Yeah.
Because you're the best thing in this game. You should pick up everything you can.
Oh yeah, you
Just a
grab
tip for
everything
everybody. Anything you can pick up, just pick it up.
because you can
Mushrooms.
discard it later.
Yeah, anything. You'll need it. You'll probably need it if you're gonna keep running around for stuff like firewood. Just pick firewood up.
Yep.
I'm telling you, you're gonna need it for one of the quests.
It's definitely my favorite game of the last year, if not the last 5 years. It's one of my favorite Zelda games of all time.
I'm praying they make another one before the Switch is over.
Yeah,
I want
'cause
to play another one.
It was amazing.
I'd love to keep
totally reinvented the idea of Zelda.
It's like changed forever.
Yeah,
And it's so simple. One of the biggest thing is you can climb
anywhere
anything and
anything
everywhere.
you can see.
No
you
one, I
pretty
can't
much get
believe no
to.
one thought of that. Like, I don't know a game where you can climb just a mountain, just climb it. Anything, just about.
Yeah.
The only thing you can't climb is inside the temples.
Yeah, because most
Only
games,
every wall you can climb though.
most games that create the illusion of like an open world, like you get to a cliff or something or a mountain, and that's your
it.
barrier right there.
Mhm.
It's like a cheap way of boxing the game in. But this one, like the amount of detail that you had to put into that, because you climb every part of the mountain. You know, anything you want to climb for the most part, you can get to almost anywhere.
It's amazing. It's such a
It was the first Zelda
ultimate
game.
exploration.
It's the first Zelda game since my number one pick that made me feel that way again, where I was so fucking excited. I couldn't wait to get home and just keep playing and keep finding things.
Mm-hmm.
I have
say
a
enough
big
about
fucking strategy book that came with it, you know, like
No,
it's game's huge. It's fucking huge.
It's enormous.
It's a must-have if you have a Switch.
Yeah, I got it on the Wii U. Plays
Well, it doesn't
Plays
matter.
comparable.
Doesn't
It's the
matter.
same.
It's almost
Basically
the
the
same
same.
game. It's the same game. But if you have a Switch or Wii U, it's a must-have game
Yep.
for the system. Now, my number one pick was released on April 13th, 1992 for the Super Nintendo, and it's Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Link to the Past.
I just love Zelda games.
I love the top-down games.
Yeah, I wish they made more of them.
I want more console top-down games.
Yeah.
Most of them are handheld now.
Yeah, I mean, now the sequel to this that came out on the 3DS, the A Link Between Worlds, is really good too. It might even be like control wise a better game because it's polished. But the first one, actually not the first game, the third game in the series, was so fucking cool. It was like it took everything.
What was the
about
first one? Yeah.
It went back to the top down view.
Yep.
It took everything that was great about the first one and expanded on it.
Improved on everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's got that just openness feel.
kinda go anywhere you want.
At the time, there was no being open like that. Oh, I gotta go. I can go over here. I can go over there.
Yeah. Just
You know?
as much time as I spent trying to get through a dungeon, I spent just walking
I mean,
around.
there was limitations. You couldn't go here because you need this thing, but
Yeah.
you would be able to go there.
But as soon as you got a hammer, you knew, and that was always the best part. Like, you knew that you were going to need to find, like, let's say a hammer to get beyond this point and the possibility of what was beyond that point.
Yeah, it's new stuff
You
to
know,
find.
I love adventure games, and it's something that a lot of kids today aren't really doing. I give my nephew adventure games all the time. He doesn't play them. He looks at them like they're too hard. I want to play Fortnite.
Yeah, kids
That's
playing
it.
Fortnite.
They love the Fortnite.
And, what's the name? Mind. What the fuck's it called?
Minecraft?
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Minecraft.
Those are the games they play. Meanwhile,
Which is kind of adventure-y a little bit.
yeah, but I'm like the fucking dork in a Dairy Queen with a Where's the Beef t-shirt playing fucking Gradius. Or Galaga.
Gradius. Womp womp. Like made a mistake earlier. Well, you won't hear that though.
The power of editing. So those are our favorite video games of all time. We got any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. Like I said, I've mentioned a couple of them, like the Tekken series. Street Fighter Alpha 3 was a great. I cut it off the list. There's so much cool stuff in that. You could like upgrade your character a little bit. So like if he got hit, he could, instead of landing on his back, you could like press a button, he'd flip and land back on his feet. Like it had all
He
you know,
flip you for
flip
real.
it for real. But like it had shit like that. There's tons of characters in it, and had the special combos, stuff like that. I just really had a good time playing it. Twisted Metal Black.
Yep.
Which the Twisted Metal, there was 3 of them on PlayStation. This is the first one. I was on PlayStation 2. It's a fucking awesome game. GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, another game just like Twisted Black, Vigilante V8. That was a really great game. A lot of times I thought it was better than a lot of the Twisted Metal games. Contra, Super Castlevania 4. I mean, I've played so many games. Well, from my teens to like towards my late 20s, and if I started slowing down, I don't play as many as I wish I could. It's one of those conundrums. Like now, I got money to buy games, but I have
You don't
to
have the
work
time.
on the time.
Yeah, it's
And I feel guilty sometimes playing them.
I
I could be doing something more useful.
I
shit
know.
like that.
I find myself playing for like 30 to 40 minutes, and once I hit that mark, I start to feel bad about playing. Like,
I don't play role playing games really anymore
It's
because
tough, man. That's what was
they're
so
tough.
great.
But that's why Breath of the Wild I wasn't sure about.
Right? Because you found time to play.
I found
that.
time.
Yeah.
And I liked playing it so much.
I mean, I still play the Resident Evil series. I still look forward to stuff like that. But I think DuckTales for the NES
Yeah, I
was one of
love
my
DuckTales.
favorites.
Good one.
Jackal is another one for the
I
NES.
liked Russian Attack.
Russian Attack is a good one.
It was a fun. It wasn't the best game. It was a fun game though.
I really like Deep Fear for the Sega Saturn, which is a game that was exclusive to Japan and Europe. But if you can find an import copy of it, you can totally play it, even though the voice acting is in English, but the writing is all in Japanese. But you can play your way through it. But what's great about it is it's Sega's Resident Evil. It's like their version of that. And what I like about it compared to Resident Evil is that you can run and shoot at the same time. And there's a really cool oxygen system. So Deep Fear is definitely one to check out. I also really used to like the Die Hard arcade game.
That's a
on the
great
Saturn.
game.
It was also on PlayStation too.
You know how I got that game? My brother worked at like UPS, and a friend of his worked at UPS, and he just like broke open boxes and take stuff.
Yeah.
And he like sold it to us like $20.
Yeah.
Like bet. Got Die Hard Arcade.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. You know, a lot of Sega Saturn games, like Virtua Cop was really fun to play. I just started getting into shooters in the past 3 years, like spaceship shooters. So I really like Gunbird for the Dreamcast.
Okay.
Or no, actually, no, I have it on Saturn, but Gunbird 2 is on the Dreamcast.
Here's a talking point. Do you remember the first game you beat when you were a kid? Can you remember what game it was?
The very first one, I want to say Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You beat Super Mario Bros. when you were a kid? I didn't beat that till
I didn't.
I was older.
Well, my uncle like got me.
He showed you kind of the way.
No, he got me to Bowser.
Okay.
And then
All right.
gave me the control. So I got
right.
past the last boss.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go back that far, I mean, you know what? But
It was
honestly,
hard remembering this.
Actually,
the truth.
But the first one that I felt like I have total confidence in, like being like, all right,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did this myself, was Super Mario World. That was the
Okay.
first one.
I played. It's sometimes it's hard remembering stuff when you're a kid. You don't know if it even happened or not. You know, you ever
yeah.
think that. So
Yeah. Like that
had
fucking
this-
Genie movie with Sinbad.
So I had the game Commando,
Yep.
and I was a big fan of the Commando movie. Kind of similar. You kind of just just shoot 'em up, and you're a guy instead of a ship or something. And I played it, and I played it, and I played it, and I get further, and I die, whatever, and I get further. I finally beat that game. I was like 7, 8 years old, so proud. Okay, I beat it. I can't believe that. I couldn't believe it. I beat a game.
You know what
Not an
game?
easy game either. Not that easy.
You know what game I'm surprised wasn't on your list?
What's that?
Seaman for the Dreamcast.
Never owned it.
I have it.
See, man.
I got bored of it really quick. I got tired of
That's
talking
an
to
odd
that
one.
fucking
I-
manfish.
It was an odd game. Katamari Damacy. You roll up stuff.
Oh, the roly-poly
Love
thing?
that game. That was a fun game I
Yeah.
played. I remember calling up. I've read about it in my magazine, and it just the idea was like it stuck with me. And I called up like, "Hey, I want to reserve this game.
Yeah.
Do you still have a copy? Save it for me."
Yeah.
The guy thought I was crazy because it was kind of obscure, I guess. It's a weird Japanese name.
The
a fun game.
The Retro Warriors podcast did a whole episode on that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cool game. The music is great in it.
Something else I wanted to talk about since we were
Sure.
talking about our favorite games. I wanted to talk about controllers, and I wanted to talk about favorites and not so favorites.
Okay.
You know, so we're gonna pick these up. We're gonna feel these, and we're gonna tell you what we think about
We're
them.
gonna feel them.
Yeah, we're gonna touch them. I'm not gonna do this in any kind of order and of appearance. Just you can hear me moving around my controllers.
It's like a Harvey
Okay.
Weinstein grab and go.
Yeah, there we go. You and your
Zing!
you and your topical humor. Now, the controller I have in my hand here is the Sega Saturn 3D controller, and it was made so that you can play Nights into Dreams.
So not many people had this controller.
No, this is something that you could
It's
buy
obscure.
separately, or you could buy with Nights. Now, Nights was a big game, but it's also the Sega Saturn. In America, nobody gave a shit about the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
Only pathetic kids like me had it. So now this is a very early analog kind of, where you've got like the joystick.
Yeah, like a D-pad.
You've got your D-pad.
the analog sticks from like PlayStation were like the first to do that.
It's circular like a pancake.
It's very odd looking controller.
The actual joystick thumb piece, I don't know what you call these things. I'm not. Feels
D-pad.
so weird. It's absolutely. We've come so far.
It's kind of very much reminds me of a Dreamcast controller.
Yes,
It's
it
got
does.
The weird triggers in the back,
Glad you said that because I brought one with us.
and the wire comes not. But the Dreamcast, the wire's on the other side.
yeah, on the Dreamcast it's at the bottom.
which always weirded me out for some reason.
Yeah, the Dreamcast controller is another one that we've got here that is such a fucking anomaly.
What comes out of here? Does it come out?
Yeah, it comes out, but like not for any reason.
Oh,
kind
okay.
of. It's like maybe for
Those are always,
storage.
like stuff that like,
Little
why does
things.
this do this? And
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I was
Just,
like,
all
oh,
right,
is it
whatever.
wireless? No, it's
Yeah.
not. No, because it's the Sega
Yeah, this is-
Saturn.
it feels all right.
It's okay. It works.
This is strange.
But there was no. But it's the Sega Saturn. It wasn't. They
You
didn't
had this
use
since you were a kid? This
No.
controller? You
I
got it-
bought that
okay.
as an adult because I collect for the Sega Saturn.
All right.
But I also have a Dreamcast controller.
Nerd
here.
alert.
Yeah. Is he talking to me? So I also have a Dreamcast controller, which is definitely an evolution of this. And later on, you can say that the early Xbox controller was a little Dreamcasty. That's a word I invented.
Dreamcast.
Yeah. Now this one's got it's It's got a D-pad that will hurt your thumb. It's got the cord coming out of the bottom, what nobody likes. It's got a weird memory card game device.
It's got a lot of stuff going on.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
The thumbstick is better than the Saturn, but it's not that much better.
I remember this came
You do have
out,
the triggers though,
and like,
which is cool.
Someone got it down the hall from me in college. It came out September 9th of 1999. And I was just like a PlayStation guy, Nintendo kind of guy. But I was like, I'm waiting for the PlayStation 2. I'm not buying this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I remember coming, we played like Ready to Rumble, because one of the first games that came out with it. And I remember playing. I'm like, what the fuck? I instantly hated it because it's a controller.
Yeah.
I just hated it.
Now,
Like, it's very different. They're going in new directions and they're thinking outside the box. But
they were like a little bit too early with the it's a funky controller, man.
It is. It's almost something like you think like a third party would make.
Yeah. It works. It
Like
does its
Cats or
job. Now I like it, but at the time I really didn't like it. Okay. Now, can't beat a classic.
No.
The
Just has
original
the feel.
Nintendo controller is fucking amazing. I know some people complain about the boxiness of it, but it is.
You know what the best part of those things are solid.
Yeah, this is
didn't
my
break.
original.
They
It still
didn't-
works.
They didn't break, and the kids threw the fucking hell
Yeah.
out of these things. Oh, that feel.
Yeah.
Cheetos crumbs all over it.
Yeah,
You know?
I should open that and see what's in there. Now, amazingly, fucking Nintendo followed that up with the Super Nintendo controller,
Another great controller.
which is an amazing controller. The only thing I don't like about the American release is that you only get it in the purple and gray.
The pastels.
The Easter controls.
I love the Japanese release
Japanese
with the
one,
colors.
yes.
Which I have iBuffalo controller for my retro. It doesn't have the same feel. Like the plastic is
Well,
isn't
here,
the best. Yeah,
take a
how I
feel to it.
compare it. But it works just fine.
Yeah.
It does the job. And it's got the colors like the Japanese Super Nintendo had.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, it just has such a...
it's great, right? The original.
It is... It just feels so much... Like, it just feels better.
You got the L&R up there. It's just, and I
Yeah,
remember
Your trigger buttons are filthy.
yeah. Look how old it is,
My
dude.
controllers are dirty as hell.
I
too.
have a Japanese one. I just didn't want to. I just brought that one though.
Nah, it's awesome.
Now, my last controller that I brought, I should note that the N64 is one of the controllers I hate the most.
I liked it.
I think it works for GoldenEye.
Yes,
but I
that's
don't
why
really
liked
like it for. And I think it kind of works for Mario Kart.
I think
too.
they wanted to maximize the controller because every game was in 3D,
Yeah,
and I thought they figured that the joystick was the better option.
but that
But they
joystick
gave you an option
wears,
with the D-pad.
You know,
Yeah, a lot of
That's-
them are busted.
That joystick over time is pretty
It
shitty.
becomes like a limp dick.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember, like you be playing GoldenEye and someone had to get like it still worked, but it
Yeah,
didn't
but it'd be all
work.
floppy.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't as responsive,
It wasn't as
maybe,
tight.
and someone had to get that controller, or they had to
Yeah.
get the third party one.
Yeah.
Like, man, I hate that. I lost this
You get
controller.
a fucking clear Mad Cats one. Nobody wanted to
I
use
hate
it
this controller
because they were so much cheaper. They're like half the price.
yeah, because controllers were expensive then too.
And
Now they're like even more, like $80 for a damn thing.
my last controller that I brought is probably my favorite controller of all time because, in my opinion, it's an improved Sega 6-button controller.
See,
And it's the Japanese Sega Saturn controller.
See, my favorite controller is the 6-button
Yeah.
controller for the Sega Genesis.
Well, I feel like it adds the buttons.
it adds
on
the
top.
triggers on top.
Yeah, that's why I really like that one.
I really like the 6-button controller.
It's a
for
great
Sega
controller.
Genesis.
Yeah.
I remember I bought them because if you played a fighting game, any fighting game, and I had a Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, Eternal Champions, you had to press start, and your 3 buttons would switch from punch to kick.
Yeah.
You had to keep pressing start,
Which puts you
to
at a
switch.
disadvantage.
You can't do the moves.
Yeah.
So I bet, and that was, I think they were like $25. I bought 2 of them and a $70 Street Fighter 2 game. That was expensive. But
Yeah.
I played the fuck out of Street Fighter 2 on my
Street Fighter
Sega
2,
Genesis.
It almost made my list, but the reality of Street Fighter 2 is as much as I played of it, I wasn't any good at it.
Me and my
So,
brother played
yeah.
it a lot. That was, what's great about that was when I was a kid, my brother, I have 2 brothers, but I played a lot with my middle brother, and he's 5 years older than me. And he beat me at everything. Like you know what I mean? And some games I'd cry. You lost because you stick your nose in it a little bit. And Street Fighter 2, mop the floor with him. And he gets so mad. He's
Take
like,
that, older brother.
you get fuck, run up the stairs, fuck, motherfucker. He beat me a couple times, but 99 out of 100 times I probably beat the crap out of him. Take that, motherfucker. Right. Beat me at
man.
RBI baseball all the time.
I used to make my brothers cry when we played multiplayer of GoldenEye because they just had no shot. They didn't know where the hiding places were.
You could watch their screen and see where they spawn.
Oh yeah, I would do that
and
too.
you could run all the way over there and kill them real quick.
Give them the shitty Mad Catz controller.
Plus, you had a big age advantage on your youngest, your
Well,
next brother.
5, 6, and 10.
Yeah.
So they had no shot.
They had no shot at all.
Yeah. Like we would fucking wrestle and it'd be all three of them against me and I'd still win. I felt like fucking Mad Madigan and fucking Willow. I had a bunch of Willows coming at me.
Get out
of here, hobbits.
Mad Madigan!
Oh, God. Well, we hope you enjoyed walking right past the movies and into the video game rental section of the Video Rangers podcast. And we hope to return back to our very special regular programming next week, where we will be tackling... I don't know what we're doing next week.
I don't know. We didn't make a decision.
Yeah, we got no decisions. We don't plan that far ahead. This is a fly-by-night operation.
Want to do over the top?
Yeah.
We'll find something.
I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's something that isn't available anywhere that will be featured right here on the Video Rangers podcast.
The best of Stallone.
Oh, yes. Next week, Oscar.
I just remember, isn't there like a little diddle music?
Well, it's almost like
people
an
are
opera.
running back and forth. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's like a TV episode or something.
I fucking love that movie. It's so stupid. Oh, man. All right. Until next time. Up, down, left, right, A, B, start, select. A couple other things.
Up, down, left, right. A, B, select, start.
Guaranteed victory.
B, A, select, start.
Yeah, I don't know.
I always got to look it up.
Yeah.
I've been using it too. BA select start. Or BA start. For 2 players, it's select. Okay.
Until next time, if you've played a great video game, we're ready to believe you.
Yeah, we're talk about it. Tell us your list. Send us your list.
Yeah, reach out to us on the Twitters and the Facebooks and the Instagrams. Just search Video
Send
Rangers
us your
podcast.
favorite game.
Yeah, talk to us.
Let's have a dialogue.
Yeah, somebody. All 4 of you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
I love the Power Glove. It's soothing.
What you just heard was a podcast.